All right, friends, today's story. Actually connected to what we learned today. And also, I don't want to leave something unsaid. It's also a commentary by comparison to the matzav today. Here's the story. In the early years after the stalkers of Rabbi Marash, story that Rabbi Yoel told in the name of Rabbi Shelbrook. It was a difficult period because neither brothers, neither the Razor of Zalmanar and the older brother, or Rebbe Rashab wanted to take the Nesius. Rebbe Rashab did say a maimer, shortly after the Istalkos, but it wasn't Barabim. He didn't conduct himself as a Rebbe, so there was no formal Rebbe in Lubavitch. It was a very difficult period for Lubavitch. Now, this is interesting. I wasn't aware of this, but the Chassidim were pushing the Razor and the Rebbe Rashab to accept the Nesias. In other words, they were quite all right with having two Rebbes. That's already a commentary on, what often happens is wars. There's enough for both. That's interesting. I mean, there was that before. That's a Chassidic children, with the exception of the oldest one, Baruch Shalom, which our Rebbe descended, became Rebbes. And there was wars. We went where you want. That Marash, the youngest brother, the outset had probably the smallest number. But the Razor was always saying no. And he's not accepting the Messias. So here's really what I wanted to tell you about. Aside from the contrast to what's happening today, it's really the next point. We should appreciate what we have. Not that we should appreciate by contrasting to something else. Anyway, so the Chassidim said to him, some Chassidim said to him, okay, so you're not going to become a Rebbe, but just like as a figurehead. They thought it's over. You're not accepting the Nesias, none of them. It's the end of the Lubavitch. So at least you're the older brother as a figurehead to continue it. In the words were, covered for the covered of your forebearers. So the Razor said of Zalmanar, and that's why I want it. This is the biggest covet that I shouldn't accept the Nesias. Because if I'll accept the Nesias only because of the covet of my forebearers, my father and son, grandfather, they might say, well, that's maybe the way it was by the previous Rebbes too. They were just figureheads. In time, that's what happens. He says, a Rebbe is a figurehead. And they weren't the Rebbes. So that's exactly why I'm not taking it. And now that I'm not taking the Nesias because I'm not worthy. So this makes it clear that a Rebbe is a Rebbe, and not simply worthy of it in truth. Not only because you just got to keep it going and it's a figurehead representative of the glory that once was. Very powerful story. And in this context, I'll tell you something I heard from my friend Rabbi Yisrael Frankfurter. This is Moshe's father. It's a Chernobyl Chassid, Kleisenberger Chassid, Chernobyl Chassid. He told me just now that my Weiss just passed away. It's his first name, I forgot. I should know. The head of the Eidah Chareid is a very respected person. I don't know if you know this. It's a Sierra Leone. It's by the Rebbe Fedolas, the Rebbe Futafas, not with him, Tanya, years ago. Anyway, so he made a big story that Bissell told me. A number of years ago, it goes back a few years ago, there was I forgot what it was, by Lubavitch and Ibrak, whatever, that was going to the oil and was leaving Israel. And he said to him, I want you to go to the oil and ask my name, Mechila, from the Rebbe. What's Mechila from the Rebbe? Was asking for forgiveness. Why? Because he had said after Gimel Tammuz, he told, his position was that Chassidus needs to have a Rebbe, and they should appoint someone. Figurehead, at least something. To continue, you can't have, you have to, like everybody else does. Closest relative, whatever it is. He says, now, this was 10 years after that, he sees now how deeply wrong he was. Now the Lubavitch is growing, and the Chassidus is spreading, and Shluchim, etc. He sees that he was wrong, so much so, he's asking his Chassid, when he goes to the oil, and his name, maybe he sent him a note to ask Mechila from the Rebbe that with this Nesias, this is different. It's a very deep and very good story. Okay, friends, have a wonderful day, and see you, Be'ez Hashem, tomorrow. Further clarity in our subject, Be'ez Hashem.